looks really clean and lovely and well put together. The second thing that caught my eye was that it looks like Wingspan.
Yeah, it definitely feels bigger than a deck of cards.
Yeah.
You know, immediately it's on.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dice Tower. My name is Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
And today we're taking a look at a small card game here called Reforest, Plants of the Pacific Northwest Coast. This, as you can see, is sort of a pocket-sized, large pocket maybe, but a pocket-sized deck of cards. And in it you are going to get a stack of lovely trees and shrubs and ferns and whatnot.
Flowers.
You're going to be grabbing cards and playing those to build out this little area in front of you, trying to get some victory points. Let's go ahead and take a look at how the game works. I'll show you on the table very briefly. We'll come on back. We'll tell you what we think of it. The game's going to be played over 3 rounds. A round is over when the deck of cards here runs out. And we are going to be doing some scoring based on the visitor that we've got here. And then after that, these cards that have been set aside under it and the discard pile that forms get shuffled up. And we play again. And when the deck runs out again, then we check the scoring. And then that's the end of the second round. We shuffle in the cards, do it one more time. All right? So 3 big rounds in the game. Each player begins with 5 cards in hand. And over here we have a little breakdown of what it is you are doing on your turns. You are going to be attempting to build a little pyramid of cards. You're going to be playing plants from your hand in order to do that. So on your turn you do one of 2 things. You can gather, and when you gather you're drawing new cards. You can take them face up here from the nursery, as they call it, or you can just take them from the top of the deck. Or the other option then would be playing cards. To play a card, you are going to pay for that card, the cost being up here in this corner, with other cards from your hand. That's its nutrients cost. You pay with cards from your hand or with stored energy adjacent to where you're going to be playing that card. We'll come back to that in a little bit, okay? So a little anatomy on these cards. All of these are the nursery revealed from the deck. They have a cost, they have a number of victory points, they have an elevation, which is where you may build it. So the bottom, which is going to be 3 cards like this, then there's going to be 2 spaces above that and 1 space above that, as seen right there. You can see that right there. So this is only the lowest elevation. Both of these are the bottom or the middle elevation. And then this one here is any of the 3, okay? You've got a symbol there that shows shade or sun, full sun, and that denotes what happens when this plant is covered by another plant that is bigger. And when I say bigger, then we're checking right here. This is how tall the thing is in meters. If it is something that can survive in shade, then it will survive in the shade, and you'll leave the card face up like this. So for example, putting this one over this one here, oh, not that one, but putting it over, let's put this one out here, putting it over this one means that you will leave this little stripe at the bottom revealed, and that plant is living in the shadow of the taller tree. If you did this instead, then this tree here, or this plant I should say, needs sunlight, so it's going to die under there and become stored energy on the forest floor, basically. And that's a victory point if it's still there at the end of the game, but you can also use that card to pay for cards you are building adjacent to that location, even above it and off to the side. That's adjacent as well. So that's how that works. And then they'll have some sort of victory, ability at the bottom. It might be an endgame scoring ability. When covered, something happens. When played, something happens, what have you. And then a few details at the bottom that, again, will stick around if this plant is covered up. So there you go. That's the anatomy of the cards. And you are going to be trying to build combinations of things. So you are going to be on your turn drawing some cards. Then perhaps you'll play one, paying for that by discarding other cards. Taking a look at when played, you may play another plant in an adjacent space and at a discount of 1. Great, so let's say I'm holding this. These 2 here, well, I can play this one at a discount of 1. So I only pay 1 for that, and I discard it. And this one says, when played, return any amount of adjacent stored energy to your hand. Well, I don't have any, so I'm not going to do that. And then it's the next player's turn. Then maybe it comes back to me, and instead of playing a plant, I gather. And so I draw a card. I'm going to fix this. And then I draw another card from the top of the deck. Next player's turn. And this continues until we run this out. Like I said, we check here the how this is going to score. In this case, for a multiplayer game, most plants in the understory. That means covered up, okay? Everything that's covered up counts as being in the understory. Whoever gets those points will get them. This goes away. We grab these. We grab the discard. Everything gets shuffled up again. And we keep going, and after all 3 rounds, we're going to do a little scoring. So we've got here this card that shows you the scoring. All the plans are going to have a number of victory points. Scoring effects, like I showed you. Stored energy would be a victory point each. The visitors, if you got them. This is the elevation row bonus. You get a little bonus for sort of balancing each elevation row. And then lastly, cards in hand, you are going to get a victory point for every 2 cards you're holding. Whoever has the highest score is the winner of the game. So the first thing that caught my eye with this game was, of course, the look of the game. Okay, that's twofold. There's 2 things there that I'm referencing. One, I think it looks lovely. I think the graphic design, the spatial awareness of the graphic designer, the lovely topography, the whole thing looks really clean and lovely and well put together. The second thing that caught my eye was that it looks like Wingspan. And a lot of people have said that online. There was a whole big thread online about how the designer stole Wingspan's look, and apparently the designer and Jamie Stegmaier, who runs the company that publishes Wingspan, have spoken. There's no beef there.
No bad blood. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand that whole argument if they stole it. I mean, if it's works and it's clean and it's good, then why not imitate? I mean, we've seen that in a lot of other games as well. So I don't dock this game specifically for that. It's like, hey, that works well. I would rather other games copy that, if you will, to keep games functional. You know,
and I think 2 particularly good graphic designers would arrive at very similar looking cards separately anyway also, in my opinion. So that's all I want to say about that. I love the look of these cards.
And I will say,
this game is a beautiful little deck of cards.
And I think it's looks very cohesive with there being so many different artists involved. And that's really impressive as well, because each card has who illustrated it listed on the card and a little bitty reference text, but it still looks cohesive. And that's pretty impressive. And card quality is right there
very
as well
good.
with it. I like it.
Yeah, this is a very well produced. The box is well produced. There is no wasted space here. It's a deck of cards in here. That's it. Everything the game does, it does with cards. This could have easily been a game that necessitates tokens and needs this other thing, and you got to do this other. Nothing. Deck of cards.
Yeah.
I like that. I respect that. And what it does with that deck of cards is also very interesting. This is a game that feels polished and refined and smoothed over, and sort of they got to the point where they figured out we really just need 2 things. You draw cards or you play cards.
Yeah.
You pay for cards with other cards. We're there. And then you build on that.
Yeah, it definitely feels bigger than a deck of cards.
Yeah.
You know, immediately as I was playing it, the game feel that came to mind was Forest Shuffle, which is a game I very, very much like. Another nature game, coincidentally. But it has that same feeling. Are you going to draw cards or are you going to play them? And that's about it. And I really like the simplicity of that it's a deck of cards. It could have had tokens, they could have beefed it up, the game, but no, it's very elegant in that simplicity and that streamlined nature of the play. It doesn't feel like you're playing just a card game,
right?
But also it's as simple and quick to the table and quick to understand as just a card game. Yeah.
I agree. This is a company, by the way, Firestarter Games here is a company from the designer, Sebastian Bernier Wong, I believe. And it is this publisher and this designer has done 1 game that's been published before. They were a co-designer on Seas of Havoc.
Yeah.
Nothing like this game at all. And it really, you know, I'm excited. I'm sort of ecstatic about what this designer is going to do in the future, both as a designer and with this little publishing house.
Yeah.
Because I find this very charming. And again, for the length of time you are playing and the size, the return is greater than the sum of those things, I would say. I really enjoy this one. It's lovely. It's punchy. I enjoy the different scoring opportunities here. Lately, I feel like I've been encountering a lot of games where when I get to the scoring, I find myself thinking, why is this a thing we're scoring in this game? Why are we counting the colors on the potted plants? Why are we also checking the pattern of the wallpaper?
Yeah.
Is that something that really we needed to score also? This one doesn't do that.
No.
This one has a few things you score. They make sense. I like the reasons for them being there. At some point, I'll find myself going, "Ooh, I better beef up this thing," because when scoring comes around, and it's not pulling focus for the sake of pulling focus.
Right.
You know, it's not at the end I go, "Oh, I forgot that existed." Yeah, I guess 12 points for that.
Or I went into this other thing as well, so hopefully you didn't go into that one. It just doesn't just wash our scores. When you get to scoring, it doesn't feel like a wash.
Right.
You know, well, I got 5 and you got 5. Okay, fine. Or I got 10 here, you got none. You got 10 there, I got none. It doesn't feel like a wash when you get to scoring.
I agree.
It does seem very... Your strategy really comes into play in the way you build out your tableau. And that's what it feels like when you get to scoring is who strategized the best. Yeah. And that's what I want in a game like this.
So a couple of small negatives from me. I don't like that the cards... On the same cards, it talks about, and this is just the sort of animals you put up at the top. I don't like that on the same cards it references solo mode, and there's text for that, and then multiplayer mode, and there's text for that. I just don't like the clarity of that, the visual clarity of that. But it is, I am nitpicking. It's very small.
And I think I actually like that, because it's one card.
It is one card. There's information on there I don't need, but I get that it is one card, yes.
But my nitpick on those is I don't love the look of them. I think with the animals, I would have liked either I know the backs are different, but maybe a little bit more going on in the background or a larger view of the animal or something. I feel like it looked like a lot of wasted space on those cards. You know, I wanted them to be, they're worth a lot of points. They are your goals each season. You know, a little more oomph behind them, just visually. And that's, like you said, super nitpicking.
Yeah. There's also a tiny little extra expansion in here. 5 events that you may choose to use. It's fully optional. I don't care for it. It's very mean.
It is.
It just turns the game into, not a take that game necessarily, but sort of a bad stuff might happen to you.
Right.
And it just doesn't feel like the same feeling, the same game. It doesn't fit in this setting, in this sort of feel.
It takes it from pleasing and makes it very targeted. You know, I mean, if you go with the targeted version, it feels like a catch-up mechanism. You know, more than anything.
Sometimes,
it makes it feel like that. I don't love it. And you go with the regional ones, then it just seems like a survival game almost. Whoever survives the best these catastrophes. So again, not my play style, but like you said, it's 5 cards. I just won't use those 5 cards.
Yeah. Because it betrays the cozy feeling of this game, and I would say this is a cozy feeling game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So where are you coming down on this one?
I'm going to come down at 8 on this. I'm really charmed by this. I hate to say it's like I said earlier, like a mini Forest Shuffle, because I think Forest Shuffle is already a very cozy and quick to the table game, but this feels like the one I would travel with. Yes. You know, it's a deck of cards that isn't limited by just the deck of cards. You know, it is in the feeling of it. I love the strategy of each card being unique, of the placement restrictions of how you place them out, but also placing on top of each other, trying to make sure that you're not covering all the plants for later scoring. There's just so much that's going on these cards without feeling overwhelmed. I really like the economy of the game, where you have the resources in the soil from plants that have died, that you've overgrown. Also the hand of cards. Also that triggering round to round is, you know, when are you going to, do I get a couple last minute plans before we trigger that because I can see it coming? I just think that economy plays really well into the flow of the game. It's instantly cozy and comfortable without feeling like it sacrifices the opportunity for strategy. Yes. You are strategizing from your first turn, from the first deal of hands, of cards. And I really like that. So for me, it's instantly comfortable and cozy and a go-to travel game. It's going to be an 8.
Yeah. I'm pretty close. I'm going to go up half a point. I'm giving this one an 8.5. It is absolutely everything you are saying. I agree with you there. It is one that manages to do quite a bit with very little, and I love the simplicity of those turns. You draw a couple cards, or you play one. That's it. That's your turn. Everything else built upon those bones comes from a couple of lines of text on the cards. And immediately you start seeing combinations, you start seeing strategies, you start noticing, oh, I should build this card up here. Oh, I need to balance these 2 or 3 piles so I can get a high score at the end. When I overbuild this, I keep the little strip at the bottom instead of flipping it face down. Ooh, I can pay for cards with that soil that's decayed. Or I can leave it there and get a point.
Points.
There's so many fun little moments in this game where you look at your hand of cards and you'll find yourself at least once going, I want to build all of them.
Right.
Ooh, they're all good. They're all like pulling at me. They're all interesting. So I really like it. If you are looking for, like you said, a really fantastic travel game. If you are somebody who loves the outdoors, you want something punchy, something quick, something that gives you a great return for your mental and time investment, then I think Reforest is one you want to check out.
And I think just a moment to shout out on the theme here. I love that it's so hyper-focused on this Pacific Northwest coast. And you see that in all the plants that are native to there, that grow there in the ecosystem of that area specifically. So it's also a game that it instantly leaves you excited for other areas of the world.
Yeah.
You know, where will they go? Whether it's United States, whether it's in the world, it doesn't matter, but there's such unique ecosystems that they can explore with this. It's one that I want more of instantly. Yeah. Not expansions. I want different little ones that I can, today I'm going to play in the Smoky Mountains. Next time I'm going to play up in, the Dakotas, or maybe, I don't know, in China, whatever. I instantly want more. So.
I agree. There you go, everybody. That's going to do it for this one. This gets a seal of excellence from us. That is Reforest. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching this one with us. My name is Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
We'll see you next time.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.
Looks really clean and lovely and well put together. The second thing that caught my eye was that it looks like Wingspan.
Yeah, it definitely feels bigger than a deck of cards.
Yeah.